Jenny. Oh, wait, I gotta turn my volume down on here. Jenny, I've been praying for you. Good morning, Kim. Or rather, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon here now. All right, Missy. Good afternoon. We'll start in 10 minutes, y'all. But Jenny, I haven't wanted to disturb you, but I just want you to know that I've been thinking about you, and I've let everybody know, to keep you in their prayers. Oh, I know. Oh, well, the last Bible study, I waited. Grandma Teresa joined, and I think that a lot of people had been tied up because there was a lot of lives. And so I was like, well, I don't know if anybody's going to join much, so I'll just wait and see. And then I needed to get one of my big fish tanks cleaned. And so I was like, I've got to do this. I can't leave them sitting in their dirty water. So I just went ahead and did that. That's what the other one was. But this one actually really is going to be our Bible study. And I do. Y'all, I bought new reading glasses, but actually, accidentally, I got men's. Isn't that crazy? I got men's reading glasses, y'all. I guess they work just as good, right? But we're going to be moving into Exodus this time. And we should have read in our Bible of 52 weeks. We should be at week 3. Do I need a mic, y'all? Can you hear me? Kim, are you able to hear me? Teresa Blunt, hey. Good afternoon. Spongy isn't in here yet. Can y'all hear me okay without a mic, or do I need to put on a mic? Kim, you can hear me? Hi, Grandma Teresa. Spongy, are you coming? Spongy is in Natty's lob right now.
I'd left her off. I told her to go.
And I think, thank you, Grandma Teresa. And I think Spongy might go live later. There's been being so many lives lately, y'all. But last week we were that was week 2. And we were at giving up is not an option. And your last reading last week for that section would have been Genesis, not chapter, Genesis 42 through 46. So then this week moves into everything is purposeful. And the beginning reading would have been 47 through 50. And I've read a little bit of it. I'm a little bit in behind myself. And then you move into Exodus 11 through 3. I mean, not 11, 1 through 3. I told y'all, I got new reading glasses, but they're men's. And day 3 would have been Exodus 4 through 7. Day 4 would have been the Exodus 8 through 11. Day 5 was 12 through 15.
Move, Lucky. Move.
Oh, okay. Okay, Grandma Teresa. Teresa B said hi, Spongy. And then, so I'm going to have to catch up on a little bit of reading myself. But we all know what Genesis was all about. It was introducing us to how sin came about, to Adam and Eve, in the very beginning of God creating the heavens and the earth, and then to where he created first life, and then to the Garden of Eden, and then on into Adam and Eve and the first sin, and then them being kicked from the Garden of Eden and told to go ye out and propagate or multiply. And then we moved on into, I believe it was, Spongy, what do you want?
I need something to eat.
Well, you're going to have to wait. We're doing Bible study right now.
I guess you just do it
She
by
just,
yourself.
y'all, we're doing our Bible study, Spongy. Are you not going to stay?
Probably not.
I don't know what to do with her. I really don't. I really don't, y'all. She's on a new diet. I talked about that Mediterranean diet, and I'm trying to help her reach a healthy weight. And she's just acting ill and hateful and just spiteful.
Well, you take sugar away from someone, it's gonna make them.
Well, you know what? You don't disrespect your mom.
I'm
And
not disrespecting you.
okay, well, are you going to come to the Bible study or not?
Why should I come there? I'm getting tired of doing it.
Everybody can hear you, Spongy.
I know, but that's the thing. I can't keep doing this anymore.
You can't keep doing what?
I don't know. I just don't know if I want to do it anymore.
You don't know if you want to be in Bible study.
No.
Does anybody have any thoughts? Anybody have any direction to guide me in with somebody being that way? Y'all, don't be scared. You can give your opinion. It's totally fine. You know, just last week, Spongy, what was it that Missy said when she was doing her scripture reading and her dedication, her devotion? No, but she doesn't need to be disrespectful either. What was it that Missy said, Spongy? You're supposed to respect your parents? She goes to the doctor again soon, so give her a snack. She's just hangry. Oh. But y'all know she's old enough to get her own snack. She really is old enough to get her own snack. Spongy, I'm boiling eggs over here. So, do you want some cottage cheese with some fruit? She's just not wanting to do the healthy lifestyle plan. And the doctors have talked to her. There is a woman there at her doctor's office that is a psychologist. Or not a psychologist, she's a psychiatrist. She's talked to her. I don't have any Jell-O, no. I need to get some unsweetened Jell-O. I'm trying to think. Y'all, this is gonna... I know what I can do. So, that's the sugar-free bread I bought. It's whole grain. Oh, y'all, I got my camera backwards. Gotta flip you around. The whole grain. And no sugar. So what I can do is I can make her a chicken sandwich. Yeah, Grandma Teresa, I have bunches and bunches of fruit. But this morning I stood here and I fixed a big vegetable omelet. A huge omelet. Well, y'all, I guess you're going to see. Oh. And I haven't opened this chicken yet. Can y'all? Oh yeah, y'all can see me. I can't read comments though. Hold on. Yeah, salt makes everything taste better. Kim, you should look at that Mediterranean diet. It's not depriving at all, I don't think. You can have all your fruits, all your vegetables, except for russet potatoes. You can't have those. And then the two main potatoes are Yukon Gold and red potatoes. You can only use olive oil or avocado oil. There's no sugar. Can't have sugar at all. And you can't have processed foods. You can't have cereals. You can't have like chips. You can't have Pop Tarts. You can't. All processed foods are gone. None of that. It's based around an all natural, healthy diet. Hi, Scully. Oh, really, Teresa B? Do you have the link? Do you have the link for that channel? Can you drop it in our chat? I'm doing pretty good, Scully. Somebody's hangry. Being mean. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, and y'all aren't gonna be able to deny this. Back in the day when we were growing up, when all of us were growing up, if I would have talked to my mom like that, and my dad would have been at home, and I would be Spongy's age, they'd kick me out in a heartbeat. I'd be gone. It'd be over. They didn't tolerate that mess. They did not tolerate that. Not one bit. And when Spongy goes to her next doctor's appointment, I'm gonna, bring all this stuff. There's got to be changes. Things have to change. But you can't have the skin. And my mom had a lot of health issues too. Like, she started getting sick when I was 17 years old, and I did everything I could to try to help her. And I would have never talked ugly to my mother. And I'm going to have to close that up in a minute. I'll chop it up after our Bible study. I'm still going to cook my good food, y'all. Like, I'm still going to cook really good meals. Because, like, tomorrow, now my son's omelet I made for him today had cheese and ham on it. Because he's not doing the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean is not really a diet, it's a lifestyle change. And you got to be willing to do it. You have to be proactive in your health. And Spongy needs to learn that. She should already know that. And then this is low-fat cottage cheese. And this is some pepper. There. And this is what Spongy is eating. And then she's got her pineapple. And now we'll put this up. Hold on, y'all. Now I've got my water. Oh, is Teresa going to the store? Hey, Tony. How are you doing? Oh, Scully, that is so nice. That is so, so nice. That's good, Tony. Well, we're doing our Bible study we've been continuing on with. So, like I was saying, Genesis was about the start of everything, the creation of heaven and earth, and first life, Adam and Eve's sin. And then it was also an introduction into some of the people, like, let me see, I think Jacob was one, Joseph, Jacob was one, the burial of Jacob. That's some of the stuff that was on the reading for this week. And then it went into, if I'm not mistaken, Jacob's family. And yeah, it did. And when he came, Jacob and his descendants was chapter 47 in Genesis. I had that marked because I need to go back and read it again. But Exodus is always the part of the Bible that started getting really interesting for me. I mean, that's when, because it was hard for me to get through Genesis when I was young and I first read the Bible because it was just a huge introduction. But um, the breakdown of Genesis is right here in the Bible. If my glasses will allow me to see. Yeah. Okay, so this is the breakdown of Genesis. So although God's people would spend 400 years in Egyptian bondage, Joseph already saw the day when God would bring them back to the promised land, which is Israel. In light of this faith, Joseph makes known his wish to be buried in the promised land. This is an expression in confidence that God's commitment is that commitment. God's covenant promises will come to pass. Joseph dies and is placed in a coffin in Egypt. Unlike his father, Jacob, Joseph's body isn't buried immediately. Instead, his coffin lay above ground for more than 400 years until the people of Israel take it back to Canaan as they leave Egypt under Moses' leadership. So there it sat in Egypt for 400 years as a silent witness to Joseph's confidence that Israel was going back in the promised land. Or that Israel was going back to the promised land, just as God had said. And then you move on. That was about, I don't know if y'all have read that yet, but it was about Joseph's faith in God's promises. Just like we should have faith in God's promises. If we pray and we're asking God to help us achieve a specific goal, and we ask God's blessing and we turn that over to God, we should have faith that God is going to be there and those promises are going to be met. So that's basically what Joseph's story was all about, was his commitment and faith to God. Now, in this one, and everything is purposeful, I'm going to read this. So, y'all, I'm going to have trouble. Let me try these glasses. Let me see something. We'll see if they make it better or worse. Oh, Lord, this makes it kind of worse. That's good, Scully. That's good that your faith has stayed strong, and that's very good. I try to stay that way, too. Now, when I'm looking at this, let me see if it helps. Oh, yeah, these help me read this, but looking at the computer, that's horrible. Okay. So, in the second chapter of Exodus, we find the story of the birth of Moses. So, Exodus 1 through 3. Exodus 1 through 3. Exodus 1 through 3. Chapter 1. That's a lot to read, y'all. And then chapter 3. Chapter 3 is about the burning bush. I know y'all remember the story of the burning bush. So this is just introducing Jacob's children. Now these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. That's Jacob and his family. Every man and his household came with Jacob. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan, and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls. For Joseph was in Egypt already. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. So that's Jacob's generation. And what's another word to call that? Oh, okay, Missy. So yeah, that's a lot to read, and it's very confusing. So I'm going to move on to the birth of Moses. I can't remember what it was that, well, I know I had to be taken away. Okay, well, let me go back to this. Because I know that can be confusing, y'all. The Bible can be really confusing. But this part, right, I know what part I'll read. I know I'm confusing y'all. I'll read this bottom part right here because this breaks it down. The beginning of the Exodus links the events of Genesis to those recorded in Exodus, two books intended to be understood in relationship to each other. Genesis provides an excellent backdrop for Exodus, reminding Israel of its roots and of the basis for God's blessings, which were soon to be experienced. These verses sum up the history of Israel as a clan, as described more thoroughly in Genesis 12 through 50. They remind us that all that is going to take place in this book is directly related to what has gone before. Most importantly, this portion of the introduction to the book of Exodus links the existence and rapid growth of Israel as a nation to the covenant that God made with Abraham. Genesis 12, 1 through 3, 15 through 12. And reiterated to the patriarchs, I don't know how to say that word. Does anybody know how to say that word? I don't know how to. All right, y'all. The Bible is very confusing. It is. That's why I like this book right here. Because it breaks it down and I'm able to understand it a lot more. So in the second chapter of Exodus, we find the story of the birth of Moses. Pharaoh had issued a decree that all Israelite males be put to death as soon as they were born. Moses' mother wanted to do what any loving mother would do and save her son. She wrapped him up, put him in a basket made of bulrushes, and strategically placed him in the river so he'd end up in the right hands. That day, Pharaoh's daughter was bathing in those same waters and sent her maid to retrieve the basket she saw floating in the reeds. She felt sorry for the child, correctly assuming he was one of the Hebrew babies. Moses' sister, Miriam, who had been watching from a distance, stepped forward and volunteered to fetch Moses' mother to nurse this unknown baby. Pharaoh's daughter agreed. Now Moses' mother got to experience a first full circle moment. I'm sure letting him go was the most painful thing she ever had to do, but in order to save him, she had to release him. There was a definite purpose for Moses' life, and because of that purpose, God protected him, put the right people in place, and, without a doubt, directed all of their paths. What are the odds that this child would be let go of, found, and brought back to the bosom of his very own mother? What are the odds that, having been drawn out of the water, Moses would deliver so many other children through a wall of water years later? It is certain that when God has a purpose for your life, it does not matter what the odds are. He places all the right pieces and people together to bring that purpose to fruition. If you are a mother, teacher, nurse, mentor, social worker, or simply someone who loves people in general, God has strategically put you in place to help bring forth purpose in the lives of others. The kind words you give, the loving advice you offer, and even that strong word of correction are meaningful and purposeful. in the development of someone's life. So never underestimate your influence in the lives of others. Never think that you're not needed or that what you have to say doesn't matter. It is all part of God's plan to help us reach our purpose in life. That is so wonderful. That is like goes along with some of the things that Misty has been talking about in her devotionals, especially the one last week. Don't forget the power your words have to others. Be kind in your words. Belinda says that all the time. Be kind in your words. Be there for others. And have faith in God's promises to you. And carry those beliefs to others to help their lives be molded in the way that God would want them to go. Like I like that. That's really good. I like that. Um, so the points to ponder in this, do you know what your purpose in life is? Do you all know what your purpose in life is? I feel like for me, my purpose in life is helping others, being there for others. Like before, when I was in college, I initially was going to be a nurse practitioner. And see, that's helping others too. And I was in the military too, but I had to get out. I hurt myself and I didn't stay in long. But I was in the military. And then shortly after that, I went into college. Excuse me. And I wanted to be a nurse practitioner. I was going to be a nurse first and then go back to get my master's to be a nurse practitioner. Well, that's when Shalea's problem started and I had to leave school. My husband was overseas, so I couldn't continue. I wasn't able to continue. And then I went back again, and when I went back again, I was going to be a marriage counselor. I was going to go into psychology and be a marriage counselor. I thought about being a child therapist, thought about all of that. And then things changed again. Things happened again. My mom got sick. Just a lot of things happened. And I had to leave again. And I went back one more time. And I was still going to go ahead and go into psychology. And I still was kind of leaning towards... I still was kind of leaning towards marriage counseling. But I never got to complete everything. I never got to complete my degree. And that kind of makes me sad. But I put my children's first. And maybe my first purpose that God intended for me was to be a good mother. You know? Maybe that was that initial purpose. Was to be a good mother. So do you all, like I was saying, does anybody want to say what they feel like their purpose in life is? I don't like these glasses, y'all. They allow me to see that Bible good, but I don't like them. Well, I gotta put them on to read this part. Can you name a time when you knew your purpose was to help someone else complete their purpose? How did you help them? So has there ever been a time in anybody's life where they knew their purpose was to help someone else, help them complete their purpose? So that's something to ask yourself. A supportive, nurturing wife to your husband. All right, y'all. Sometimes fear can hinder us from stepping forward to help others. Can you remember a time when you didn't step forward to help someone with their purpose? What was the hindrance? What should you have done? Now, my experience I've had is a little bit different from that question. I saw somebody being hurt, and I was intimidated and scared to really step forward to do anything about it, like a lot of people are. Okay, I stop yawning. And so, what should I have done is I should have stepped forward. The hindrance for me was fear, just something we just talked about. Sometimes fear can hinder us from stepping forward to help others. You can't let fear control your life. And now I'm learning that. You can't let fear control your life. And I know what I should have done was intervene. And I didn't have to personally put myself into the situation. I could have called for help. There's a lot of things that I could have done. Could have, should have, would have. Those three big words. Could have, should have, would have. But you can't go back in time. Right. And at the end of this, I don't know if anybody plans on getting this book, The Bible in 52 Weeks. It is really, really good. Like, instead of me sitting here reading parables to you and long chapters and maybe confusion, like I said, this breaks it all down. And it might be a Bible study for women. Doesn't mean men can't get something from it too. So we're going to end this one with this prayer. Dear Lord, it is my desire to please you in all of my ways. Help me always be a light and a positive role model in the lives of the people I encounter this week. I know that you have a purpose and plan for each of us. It is my prayer that you will help me daily, trust in you with all of my heart, and lean not on my own understanding, but in all of my ways, I am trusting you to direct my path. Amen. That's Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 6. And I love that prayer. I love, love, love that prayer. Does anybody have any thoughts or from what we talked about in the book today about your purpose in life and what might be holding you back? Anybody? Anybody at all? Anybody at all, y'all? There are so many things that I want to do. I'm 53 now, but so what? There are so many things that I still want to do, so many dreams I want to achieve, arts and crafts I want to do, just so many things that I want to do. And I feel like time, like we're already 6 months into this year. Half the year's gone. Christmas is going to be here in 6 months. And that's just crazy to me. Like, where is the time gone? So my point to that is I want to have meaning in each day. I want to live my life with a feeling of fulfillment and purpose. Purpose in my life. That's how I want to live. And I want to know that God is blessing that I choose, that it's the right purpose, that it's the right path for me. Yeah, I know. I know, Kim. Nobody else has anything to say? Hi, Betty. Or else you risk becoming what? Oh, Scully, I found this AI. It's called LTX Studio, and it helps you like create visual images and stuff. Because, I stopped my spooky story stuff because I want to create like the images. And I know it's not going to be the best in the beginning, but I want to work on that. And I'm hoping this LTX Studio can help me an awful lot. But I just wanted to share that. Spooky story isn't over. Spooky story time is not over, y'all. Scully, what do you know what Izzy uses? Do you know what program she uses? Now, I know she works in Canva. But I use Canva too. Like, I use Canva for thumbnails and stuff. When I'm in camera, I didn't see, like, I don't know. I'm going to have to play around with it. I'm definitely going to. But like I've said before, and I know some people don't agree with, like, short, like, horror writing, and it's very graphic and explicit. But you know what? Life is very graphic and explicit. And I don't think God would frown on me for following a passion that I have, that I've had all my life as a child. Oh, okay. I'll have to check. Is that free? Because a lot of this stuff you got to pay for. Yeah, see, almost all of it you have to pay for, and it adds up before you realize it. And you know, I think I'm going to start wearing makeup because I feel like I'm plain Jane sitting over here. I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. Yeah, I figured. I figured. All right, so nobody has any other thoughts, Sean? So next week, and it will be, I don't think I'm going to do it on Sunday. Because that's the weekend and people have plans and people go to church. I think I'm just going to start doing it Monday at 1 o'clock. So the next one is going to be Thank God for the Crushing. And that's still going to be in Exodus. So you'll pick up from, you will pick up from Exodus 18. Yeah. And you will move on into Exodus 19. And you will go to Exodus 40. Yeah, Exodus 40 for day 6. I got a lot of catching up to read. I really do. I got a lot of catching up to do. And then I'll know more about what we're going to be talking about then. So Monday at 1, we'll do this again. So what everybody do for the weekend? Is anybody going to talk? What everybody do over the weekend? All right, Scully, bye. Have a great rest of the day. And I need a bookmarker to mark this instead of bending my pages. Well, y'all, Spongy, did you ever even join?
No.
All right, y'all. Well, I appreciate y'all staying and listening, and I'm hoping that you got something from that. You do, Teresa? I do too. I really do too. All right, y'all. Well, I really hope you go forward and continue reading in Exodus. Make sure that you, if you do, make sure that you start on verse 19 and you go all the way to 40 in Exodus for Monday next week at 1 o'clock. All right, y'all. I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for coming along and staying with me, and y'all have a great day. Bye, y'all. Much love to everybody. Love y'all. See you later, alligators. Bye.